Well, now at 4, 30s and thunder over central Indiana at this hour. We got an update on who could see a little ice this evening and early tonight.
Plus, deadly police pursuit. The investigation into a car fire that left one person dead and several more hurt.
And a daring rescue caught on camera. The incredible effort to save a man on an out-of-control boat. Live from Indy, you're watching 13 News.
We start at 4 o'clock with changing weather on this Wednesday. It is cold, it is wet, and it could get slick. This is a live look at the North Split in downtown Indy. Could be a difficult evening commute depending on where you are headed. Good afternoon. Great to have you with us. I'm Dustin Grove.
And I'm Felicia Lawrence, and we have meteorologist Sean Ash. He has been tracking today's weather impact, a wet one for parts of central Indiana.
Yeah, and I've had numerous reports of thunder, something we expected.
30s and thunder.
Well, it doesn't happen often. We usually get it maybe once, sometimes twice a winter, and that's what's going on right now. So we're going to be on the lookout later this evening. I will tell you, I just checked. A lot of the NDOT road sensors have the surface temperature in the upper 30s. So roads are going to be mostly wet for this commute here. We will watch east and northeast, especially toward the sunset. So it's 30 over in Connorsville, but those are wet roads right there. 32 here in Indy at this hour and 34 in Morse. And we've got a lot on radar from central and southern portions of the state. Between yesterday and middle part of today, winter weather advisory was expanded. It does include Noblesville and Fishers now, and Anderson and Ingalls and Newcastle. A lot of what you're seeing here is this precipitation axis. Most of it's rain. There's those pops of thunder. We will get more of those, by the way, before this thing wraps up. Within the advisory area, that's where we could get a little glazing of ice later this evening. I think a lot of folks are going to get home okay here, but we're going to watch conditions evolve over the next couple of hours and see if that does change. But what we're expecting is anywhere from Richmond to Muncie, Kokomo, and Lafayette, and even toward Anderson, maybe a glazing on bridges and overpasses, untreated surfaces here. From now until about 2 or 3 in the morning. I do want you to know that by the time you get up tomorrow morning, temperatures will be closer to 40 degrees. So this is not going to impact the commute tomorrow morning at all. It's just going to be later this evening and early tonight when we could have some of this little glaze going on here. So we'll be watching radar and temperatures closely. This is the first of 3 systems. We'll talk about the other 2 coming up in the 7-day outlook in a few minutes.
All right, Sean, and as our 13 weather team tracks the freezing rain and the wintry mix on its way, NDOT is closely tracking the temperatures.
Our meteorologist Matt Standridge asked them, how do they treat roads and what do they do if a road still freezes?
Their winter sometimes just wins, even with all your guys' hard work.
Yep.
You get that little bit of ice. What can you do after that if it is kind of frozen? Do you have to wait, or is there something that you can do?
Yeah, I think road temperatures, air temperatures, the type of precipitation we're seeing are all factors. It can get kind of complicated.
Yeah, sure.
At times, but I think road temperatures are one of the main factors. We can adjust our materials. We do have some additives that we can bring in, especially when it gets super duper cold. You know, may bring in some extra resources if there's one, specific bridge or stretch of roadway. They may spend some time, really treating, this area specifically if the need arises.
NDOT says they will be watching the rain ice line through the evening and constantly making adjustments to crews and as well as their strategies. All right, so we will keep our eyes on the road from that standpoint. Let's get a look at what current conditions look like right now. This is I-65 in Main Street. This is actually down in Greenwood, and we are seeing moisture on the roads. Now, things are all clear, but you can see that the roads are wet. This is something to keep in mind, not only if you're in and about that area, but of course, staying close to us with 13 News at 4 here as we continue to monitor weather conditions as well as road conditions. And you can do that by keeping the app near, okay? You can keep the live Doppler 13 weather app with you. We'll track the incoming rain there and get the latest on the forecast.
All right, now we want to take you to Plainfield, where police are investigating a fiery crash that killed someone and several more people were hurt.
All this happened this morning after investigators say Avon police tried to make a traffic stop. Jenny Runovich shares what we know so far.
Well, I can tell you the impact from this crash was so strong. It sent an SUV out of the intersection, off the road, and then onto the grass here. You can see the burn marks where that SUV burst into flames.
Plainfield police are heading up the investigation into what led to the fiery crash. They say around 9:15, an Avon police officer tried to stop a car near US 40 and Ronald Reagan Parkway. They say the car wouldn't stop, and a witness tells 13 News that car sped into this busy intersection and slammed into an SUV, which immediately caught fire. The flames so strong, neighbors driving home saw it from streets away.
I got to Raceway and I could see the smoke, like really big, dark, black. When I got to the stoplight, I realized that it was cars like out on the road, and I was like, oh, so there's a big wreck.
I would say it was totaled completely, like it was completely engulfed. Tons and tons of cops everywhere.
Police say one person was killed, 2 others injured in the crash. A witness tells 13 News officers pulled an injured child from the SUV, and investigators say officers were injured while trying to help. A suspect is now in custody as Plainfield police continue to investigate. In Plainfield, Jenny Runovich, 13 News.
Also this afternoon, we are digging through a new filing in the Delphi murders case.
This time it's coming from Carroll County Prosecutor Nick McLeland. Hey, let's bring in Samantha Johnson, who has followed this case since Richard Allen's arrest. She's bringing us up to speed with where we stand right now.
Yeah, so about a month ago, you'll remember Allen's defense team filed what's called a motion to correct errors. And in that document, they gave us really several reasons why they think Allen's conviction should be overturned. And now the prosecutor in this case has filed his response to that request. So he's basically saying the defense can't request a new trial just because what they chose to present in trial didn't pan out the way they wanted. He says there is no newly discovered evidence to warrant a new trial. So today we sat down with a former prosecutor turned defense attorney who tells us his take on what the prosecutor is arguing.
Hey, this was a lot of factual stuff. You had your opportunity to cross-examine witnesses, could have brought this stuff up at trial. Now you're asking the court to reevaluate evidence. Again, I think there's somewhere close to 0% chance any of this gets granted.
Okay, and by that, he means he expects the judge will deny Richard Allen's request for a hearing or to overturn his conviction. Banks also told me that he expects the judge could rule on this pretty quickly. Now, something else that came out of this new filing this week was actually pictures of the crime scene. They were shared publicly by the state for the first time. They aren't graphic in any way, but they do give us a closer look at a key piece of evidence in this case. So we'll explain and we'll show you some of those photos tonight at 6.
The attorney you talked with seemed pretty confident this is going to be denied, but what happens next? When will we find out?
Yeah, he was confident it would be denied and confident that it would happen pretty quickly. So if the judge does deny this request, which she likely will, basically that will restart or re-trigger the appeal process for Richard Allen's defense team. They will then have 30 days to file a notice of appeal. So much more to come, and we'll have more coming up tonight at 6.
Okay, thank you so much, Sam Johnson, reporting this evening. And everybody knows how expensive health care is.
Those high costs can land a lot of families in debt. They do land a lot of families in debt, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars in medical debt. According to the Baker Institute at Rice University, 16% of Indiana families have outstanding medical debt that ends up going to collections. And in some rural counties, that number is as high as 28%. It's why state lawmakers say they're searching for solutions.
One Democratic state senator is hoping his bill could help some of those Hoosiers who are struggling.
13 News State House reporter Emily Longnecker joins us with a closer look. Emily?
The bill is being proposed by Democratic State Senator Fatty Cadora, but he's worked across the aisle with some Republican lawmakers to put it together. This morning, the Senate's Health and Provider Services Committee got a look at what's in Senate Bill 317. Cadora testified before the committee about the bill, telling lawmakers his research showed 1 in 5 Hoosiers carry medical debt. According to the Urban Institute, Indiana is 11th in the country for the percentage of people with medical debt in collections. The average amount, almost $1,400. Another study from the Baker Institute at Rice University showed medical debt hits communities of color particularly hard, with 1 in 4 families reporting medical debt in collections. That same report showed 1 in 5 families in Marion County is struggling with the issue. Today, lawmakers heard from one woman whose sister fought cancer and the medical debt from treatments until she passed away in 2022.
Because of medical debt, my sister's spirit was killed long before the chemotherapy slowly killed her heart at only 56 years old.
Coming up tonight at 5:30, we'll break down some of what this bill would do if it became law and the concerns that some who testified had about it. At the Indiana State House, Emily Longnecker, 13 News.
All right, we've got rain and freezing rain, rumbles of thunder, and we're timing out another messy mix in the forecast.
And owning Gaza, reaction today to President Trump's latest move out of the Middle East.
And an abrupt about-face, the way the U.S. Postal Service is now working to get packages from China.